Welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Hello, UFO Pirate 17. Glad to see you here. You're the first one here. Wow. And we already have one dislike. How do you like that? I wonder who that was. Oh, wow. Hope we can turn you around. I think that was UFO Pirate 17. I think he puts that 17 on there as a misnomer. I don't think he's a true follower. Thank you very much. I hope you're giving me a thumbs up. We got 3 now, and so I'm going to be number 4 is my lucky number. I got number 4. And yeah, welcome to the Truth Quest. This is our, 92nd episode? Can you believe it? Can you even believe it, folks? Can you believe that they'd allow this to be on the airwaves that long? My goodness, without some kind of warning. Oh, it wasn't you? Oh, good. I'm glad it wasn't you. You're the only one I see in the chat here. It says there's 2 watching now, but we got 6 likes. So we got some ghost watchers. So whoever the ghost watcher is that gave the thumbs down, please, have an open mind and wait until at least a few minutes in before you give it the thumbs down. I don't understand it. I've never given anybody the thumbs down, even on videos I don't like, because, it's us against the big tech giants, right? We got to help support each other. And if you have a channel, I'll give you the thumbs up too, because thumbs up rocks. Where's the thumbs thing? It's right under the where it says full disclosure. We got 8 likes so far, so that's fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to go ahead and share this on out to my Facebook page because, a lot of times people don't get their notifications these days. I wonder if you guys did. UFO Pirate 17 was the first one on today, so that's awesome. I don't know how he got on so quick. Sometimes people are on there like, how do they know I'm on? They must see it right when it comes on. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Call in. All right. We're inviting them to call in. And all of you as well, we're inviting to call in. Hello, Philip Oliver and Mud Rabbit. Hello. All right, you found it. Thank you, UFO Pirate 17. I appreciate that. Oh, and someone unliked the unlike. So thank you very so much. I really appreciate that. That's great. And we're all here, family. We're all one big family. And we're all here to help each other. If there's any way I can help you all, let me know. And if you ever have a want to come on the air and tell your story, tell a story. Now, today I was mistaken. Last time on the air, I announced that Bernie would be on today. I was mistaken. I forgot that he had told me that he was coming out of the hospital on the 20th, and that's today. So, obviously that was wrong. I didn't look at my notes, so I should have looked at my notes. What's going to happen now is I'm going to try and do it on Friday. But if he's not up to it, we'll put it off till next Wednesday. Okay? So that's my my plan. He was very tentative about doing the interview. So I want to give him options. So, but, I was listening to a Bernie Mendez interview just today. It's something I heard many years ago, but a good friend of the program, Sandy Sue 22, sent it to me. And it's very interesting, very, very interesting. And hello, Catherine Weiss. Welcome to the Truth Quest. Good to see you all here. So we might, take a little listen to that a little bit here in a little bit after we get rolling here. and everything else like that. So, oh, you love my RP78 calls? Well, thank you very much. Yeah, you know, Red Pill is such a great guy. He's got such a great show. If people, if you want news, tune into Red Pill 78. redpill78news.com. Go to it, follow him. He had what, 270,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube when they kicked him off for doing a story about Bunter Hyden's portable computer, which is now which always was a true story, but you know, big tech likes to cover things up to help their side. And it's not the side you want to be on, trust me. So, well, it is what it is. We're doing what we can with what we got, right? But I think we're winning. Let's go, Brandon. I heard that that's going to be banned now as hate speech. Really? I saw a great little meme. I think it was Babylonian Bee. It showed this parent at a sporting event in the stands going like, and the headline was, liberal parent is confused about how he's supposed to cheer for his son Brandon at the sporting event. Oh, full disclosure. Yes, full disclosure and full disclosure. You know, I think that's what Corey's working on. And we've got a Corey update today too, friends. He's working on like a documentary about the UFO community and how it's, you know, it's not only infiltrated, it was always that, it was set up that way. So the people you see on TV, the people you see over and over again, these people, I don't know. Use your own judgment. That's all I'm saying. But if they're always on TV, you got to ask yourself. And TV, they're the purveyors of non-truth. So if you're hearing it on TV, it's probably a watered down version of the truth or something not even close to the truth. That's why I think I read today, there was no program this last week or 2 weeks on CNN that got more than 1 million views. Wow. I bet you they're wishing they had that airport gig again that they lost. So nobody's watching. How many of those are bots that are watching? Probably most. So Zach's awesome. Yeah. Oh, before he did the big reveal, yeah, he showed his face. Yeah, I heard that was kind of an accident, actually. Excuse me. Bless me. Excuse me. Must be getting cold in here. UFO Pirate 17. I had an alien encounter when I was young, 5 to 7 years old. I had a dream about it every night till I was around 16 years old or so. Never once since then. My family says I'm crazy. Wow. Well, maybe you could call in. I'll get the Zoom details here. I'm going to do it 2 separate ones this time, and maybe this time I'll be able to make this whole thing work. Oh, what did I do? So there's that. Oh, see, there's that meeting is hitting the HTTPS thing. I don't know why it's doing that. But also, although the one tap mobile. Okay, I don't know if this is too much information or what, but it is what it is. There you go. There's some one-tap mobile options for you. Oh, I don't think it'll bore everyone. You're welcome to call in. You know, everyone's got a story. It doesn't have to be a long story. Everyone has something strange that happened to them. I've had many strange things happen to me. Some of them weren't very long. Some of them were very short. But when you're telling a story, you can stretch it out by adding other words in there, like and ah. There you go. You can make it a little longer that way. Makes it look like you're thinking. See all the tricks of the trade. See, I'm thinking now. Just kidding. Oh yeah, it's raining here, folks. I don't know what it's doing over there. I'm going to open up the chat box here and give a little secret message to the people who call in. And if you call in, count the exclamation points. You'll be surprised. Okay. All righty then. Well, let's get into this here, friends. There's another video out by Secure Team 10. And where did those go? Yeah, okay. All righty then, I have to do this first. So there you go. Hello, Kelly George. Welcome to the program. We're glad that you're here. All my files, okay. All right. Now we're cooking with Crisco, I tell you. All righty then. So let's, now we can do it. Now it will work, friends. Oh yeah. We're doing that thing that all the kids do now. It's that screen share thing. So, like I said, Tyler at Secure Team has a new video out. And part of the video has to do with these strange clouds, square-shaped clouds people are seeing. Here you can see it's transitioning from this one to this one. But look at these clouds. I mean, does this look natural to you? I mean, I don't know. What do you think? I think that looks not very natural. Not very natural at all. No. Indeed not. Indeed not. There it is. So what do you think about that, friends? That is something else, isn't it? Oh, you know what? Okay. There we go. One participant. It almost looks like the stuffing from your comforter, right? Hello, Kelly George. Yeah, not natural at all. No. And there's just, example after example. Now, are these fake? Who knows, right? I guess they could be. Maybe somebody did that. And so this one shows the video, what, it's at Secure Team 10, what's going on in our skies. It's an 11-minute video. Well, look at this. That's a pretty straight line for a cloud to have. Bank of clouds. Very curious. Looks like there's a hole in it right here too. That's kind of odd. Very strange. Very, very strange. Weather control. Could be. Yeah, it's very strange. Very, very strange. Weather modification. Yeah, could be. Could be Photoshop. Um, what else could cause that? What else could cause that? Now, this one here, yeah, like, I don't know. And see, now this one to me, this looks like it could be a reflection of like a, you know how in office buildings they'll have like fluorescent light, a bank of fluorescent lights, and then when you look out the window, you see like a reflection of it. Maybe it's that. I don't know. Or maybe it's an illuminated cloud, like it's purported to be. I don't know. Um, any ideas on that one? Oh, looks like I missed something. Uh, Sorry, Corbin Phoenix, just doing my job. Yeah, if you put a message on there and it gets bumped off, that's that's a good thing because there's some reason that it couldn't stay there because um, the platform will punish me and my channel. They're already punishing me enough. Holographic in nature, do you think, Edward Taylor? No one messes with the mud rabbit. That's right. She's got the fastest delete button in the West. You don't come up against her. I'm sure he didn't mean anything harmful. Um, okay, let's see. Oh, 17 likes. Look at that. How? Yeah, that's a great number. I love that number. Yeah, 17. Maybe it'll be 17 million tomorrow. You think? Now I want a frosted Pop Tart. Yeah, Kelly George. There you go. Yeah. Oh, the Pop Tarts. You know what? Uh, I think maybe the box might be better for you than the actual Pop Tart if you actually ate the box, because then you'd actually get fiber. Something your body could actually use. I'm not sure about those Pop Tarts. Boy, I haven't had one of those for longest time, but it just does seem kind of like cardboard with a little bit of jelly in it between, doesn't it? Cardboard with jelly. I want popcorn. Yes, Jerry. Popcorn's good. Looks like a Pop Tart. Yeah. Yeah, we love Corbin. He's a great guy. All right. And he's down there in Hope, Arkansas. Okay, this one's a peculiar one. Check this one out. Look at that. It's like you took a chunk out of it or something. Isn't that strange? Some of these might also be like, sometimes when Google Earth takes a picture of something and it's filled in later with that same area, but now the clouds are different. Maybe it's because of that. I don't know. It's a question. It's a question that we might not have the answer for. Might not have the answer for. You know, friends, when I was getting ready to start the show, I took off in my spaceship here. All of a sudden, I heard something, like something might have hit the outside of my craft. And, getting ready for the show, I really didn't have time to examine the craft very good. So I'm just going to turn around for a minute to kind of like, take a look and see if anything's out of sorts with my spaceship here, because we are up in space now. And I think something hit me, felt like something slammed into my spaceship here. And let me just check. Look. Oh my goodness! It's Captain Kirk. It's William Shatner. Look! Oh my goodness! He must have grabbed on before I took a. I did tell him that I wanted to interview. Maybe he was coming to get interviewed. Oh my goodness! And then he's hanging on to the. But look at him. Look how young he looks. I think the space is like. Maybe it's the fountain of youth. We've turned back the time here, friends. Look at Captain Kirk is back to his old self. Hey, Captain. He looks kind of surprised. Hi, Captain. Good to see you. Come on in. The hatch is around. No, don't open the hatch. Oh, boy. How are we going to do this? How are we going to let him in? Oh, you saw him up there, Mud Rabbit? I was wondering if someone was going to see him. I thought that would be a fun thing to, with all the funny Captain Kirk memes going around. He's using the wing as a restroom. Yeah. Yeah, he's clever that way. He goes up into space once. Now he wants to go up every day. He'll hang on to any rocket he sees. He wants to get back up there. And can you blame him? Can you blame him? I don't blame him. No, UFO Pirate 17. That's Captain Kirk, Captain James Tiberius Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. And it looks like the vacuum in space seems to be reversing his age, and he doesn't look 90 anymore. It actually looks like he's about maybe in his mid to late 20s or whatever he would have been back then. And it's also, the forced rushed space oxidation of his Blue Origin's blue spaceship suit, because of the forced oxidation in the zero vacuum, has caused that blue to somehow turn into a light tan color, very similar to the color of the shirt he wore on Star Trek. Isn't that amazing? What a coincidence. Yeah, he's imitating a creature on the wing of the airplane of Twilight Zone. Yeah, I love that Twilight Zone. Nobody can overact quite like Kirk, quite like William Shatner, the Shat. He's the Shat. And he does it very convincingly. Hello there, Austin Morris. Good to see you here. And Edward Taylor. Hello. Oh, I bet you can't guess who that might be. It's the Bat Phone. Looks like this wouldn't be the famous Maxwell Smart, would it?
Yes, indeed.
It is. It's Maxwell Smart, folks. Oh, you're going to bed, UFO Pirate 17? We're doing good. UFO Pirate 17 is going to bed. All right. hardly up to say, well, we're glad that you caught part of the show. We really appreciate you having you here. And call in next time. Yeah. All right.
So what's the topic of the moment?
Well, we were just looking at some pictures of strange cloud formations, very square-looking cloud formations in the sky, as featured in the latest Tyler video of Secure Team.
Oh, wow.
Secure Team 10. Yeah.
Well, I finally caught up with watched the video for your presentation or whatever from Monday. I'm sorry I ate a heavy meal and fell asleep early.
No worries. I figured that was what it was.
And I woke up and it was late, so I thought, well, it's probably not going on. It's probably not going on. So I didn't want to call you too late. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. UFO Pirate 17 had an alien encounter. He was going to maybe call in, but he thought it was too short. But we're going to give him some support and call in next time or whenever you want, even this time if you want to stay up a little later. Wouldn't be that much. Yeah. So feel free to. So what's up with you, Max?
Not a whole lot. I've been putting together some plans, some business plans, but
oh, nice.
It takes some time. I'm designing some new technology.
Oh yeah? Well, you're the guy for it. You're the guy for it.
But I was thinking about something that you guys were talking about the other day. I think it was Austin was talking about the dinosaurs being found in the Congo, or someone trying to find.
Oh yeah.
And that reminded me that there was a real life guy. I'm trying to remember professor. His name. I can't remember his name. He's famous though. He's from University of Chicago, and he led a number of expeditions to the Congo looking for this creature. And why we should care about this is that he's the real life person that Indiana Jones was patterned after.
Okay.
There's a real life person from the University of Chicago that it was known for traveling all over the world and conducting interesting exotic expeditions, and at least one was to the Congo. I think there's several actually to the Congo looking for this
dinosaur.
I
heard the report I heard years ago was these natives said they showed them pictures of these dinosaurs, and it was in the river or something, so it was aquatic. And they caught it and they ate it, and everyone who ate it died. So it was like poison or something.
Dude.
Did you ever hear that?
I hadn't heard that.
No?
One Sunday morning, this has been, let me think how long ago this has been. 30 years ago, maybe. I woke up and I flipping through the television channels, and there's this, Christian broadcasts, and they had this missionary on there, and this missionary was talking about I think he was in Indonesia, and he was talking about what he was hearing from the natives, that they were seeing this glowing bird in the sky.
Okay.
And they became fascinated, and they started to, the place that this reports were coming from was not too far away, so they actually traveled to this place, and this guy had videotape of this thing at night flying through the sky, and it glowed. And when you look carefully at the video, it looked like a pterodactyl.
Oh, wow.
It was a real life video. And I quickly, when I saw that, I threw back in those days, videotape into the recorder to record it. I do have it recorded somewhere on the VCR tape.
Okay.
And but they basically were trying to understand why a pterodactyl, if it existed, would glow.
Yeah.
And it's quite unusual. It's not the usual thing you expect to see on a Sunday morning Christian, radio program, Christian television station.
Right.
It's kind of unusual.
Yeah.
I did notice I've been following up on, of course, this, whatever you want to call this number system that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how, most of the people in the audience are people who've been around here for a while or not, but I was able to find that within the "where we go one, we go all" message, there was something, when you add the first part of that phrase, you get 143. That's the number if you add up all the values of all the digits. And so if you add the 4 and a 3 and the 143, you get 17. I mean, 7, you get 7. And then the last part, we go all, was 30.
Okay.
Or 3. Okay. And then later there was a post, our favorite Anon, that had the number associated with 17, and then it's a space, and then 30. Okay. So there's a clear attempt in the post to point to this 1730. So I thought to myself, and I keep thinking to myself, that has to be significant in some way. There has to be a reason for that. And so I keep looking for that reason. And of course, I don't know, a few presentations back, I think you'll remember that around September 11th, I noticed that if you take the abbreviated form of September 11th, SEPT, if you add the digits there, you get 60, or which can be 6 plus, you add the digits there again, 6 plus 0 is 6. And then 11, 6 plus 11 is 17. Then you add the abbreviated form of the year, which is 2-1, and you get 3. 17-3.
Okay.
Okay, so I thought, okay, this is quite interesting, because I remember the phrase, and another phrase in the drops is their symbolism will be their undoing.
Their downfall, yeah.
And so it seems, their downfall. So what? I mean, it seems like that's a perfect example of their symbolism, right?
Yeah.
What happened on September 11th.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about that, and then all of a sudden I was thinking of BCP, Black Conservative Patriot, had a presentation, I don't know, maybe a week ago, or just over a week ago, and he was noticing that the plane that had all the Americans on it, ready, they were going to, as soon as they got permission, they were coming back to America, had a number on the side. It was 119. And he thought there was something odd about that, and there's a number of people checked out that plane isn't real. The real plane has a different window configuration, and he was talking about that. And of course, he noticed that 119 is the reverse of 911, right? And he said, something's weird here. And then he started putting other things together. He said, it struck me as odd, when we saw that plane where all the Afghan people were trying to grab onto the plane, and as it was taking off, he says, he went back to that video and he noticed all these people are smiling.
That's because we gave him 85 billion in equipment.
Now think about it. The people are trying to get on a plane, supposedly in fear of being left behind. They're not going to be smiling. So he says that seems to be fake too.
Well,
and then so he was thinking about all this and said, didn't Trump say that he had an agreement with the Taliban? What if in this belligerent occupation that what we're seeing is all designed? This is a white hat operation. What if this is to show the people how the Pino is failing in every way?
Well, that could be. That could be, but I have to say that my belief that airplane was very real, and when it took off and those people fell off, it was very real, because Red Pill showed on his channel some footage from the plane. Someone was filming from the plane, and someone hung on, and they were flopping around. Their legs were flopping around. There's no way that person could be alive. It was horrifying. It was, you know, I think he even apologized for showing it. It was very disturbing. So, you know, I really think that was totally real. But you're right. But I think
I'm not saying it isn't. But what if it wasn't? I dug in a little bit more here, and I said, okay. What if you? I added up the numbers of Taliban, right? The numbers associated with the letters, right? Added it up, and you get 59. And when you add 5 and 9, you get 14, and that has the base energy of 5, which is Patriot energy.
Okay.
And I said, that's a bit odd for something supposedly to have that energy. And then I said, okay, they normally refer to it as the Taliban, right? So add the modifier the, and I'm doing what I normally do, is I take the first digit, like a 33 is what the adds to.
Mm-hmm.
So I was adding 30 of the 33 onto 59, and I got 89, and all of a sudden I said, 89, that adds to 17. Then I noticed the leftover I hadn't added was 3. 17, 30. And so all these coincidences were happening, and so I said, okay, 119 or 11-9 actually also codes for 1730. Okay, so all these things kept jumping out at me. And then I don't know if it's a post, maybe you can remember, that said that the military would only intervene if the Pino's favorable rating dropped below 30%.
Okay.
I don't know if you know, this last week his number was officially 31%.
Yeah, you could probably cut that in half, or a quarter of that for the actual.
So it's probably below 30% now, which puts 11-9 in the time frame at which kind of we're told that it could happen.
Yeah, but Brandon's numbers are up, though. Brandon's numbers are up.
Yeah. That's kind of hilarious. I was at a restaurant and I overheard I said something with the word Brandon. I just said the word Brandon, and I noticed a couple tables over, someone was chuckling because they heard me say it.
Yeah.
So I knew they were probably patriots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I just noticed that. I'm hesitant to draw too many conclusions from that, but I wanted to pass it on to people so that they could think about it.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because you're right. He did have good agreements with the Taliban. So, they might be working in unison with the Patriots in some weird way.
Well, think about
go ahead.
Well, think about the Geneva Convention requires when David will.
Are you there? Max? Oh, he's calling back. Hello? Are you back? Max? 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 Hello? Hello? What was that calling?
Hello?
Max, we lost you.
What happened?
I don't know. We lost you.
Okay, I was just. Go ahead.
Before you say anything, I just wanted to say I put up a picture. It's a bunch of pictures of pterodactyls being caught, back in the Old West by the cavalry or whoever. There's a lot of photos. I don't know if any of them are real, but there's a lot of folklore around the fact that there were pterodactyls in the Old West, and they shot them. And some of these pictures look pretty convincing to me.
Yeah, there were a few interesting things about that. People down near the Rio Grande were describing creatures that would come in, and this one account I remember. I think there's a video associated with it. The guy having animals disappear, small animals.
Oh boy, really?
I think he had something came and tried to attack his dog.
Oh really?
Dog was in a cage. Dog had a cage you could retreat to though, so the dog didn't get captured, but it got chickens and other things.
Yeah. Wow.
I can't remember where I found that, but there were all kinds of reports. Rio Grande, in more or less somewhat isolated sections to the west of the southernmost city in Texas.
Okay.
Along the Rio Grande, it's in that section. But anyway, so it just going back to the other thing, David Wilcox the one pointed out that the 11.3, 11.5, and 11.7 might be referring to this document from the Geneva Convention dealing with a belligerent occupation.
Mm-hmm.
And in that document, he was reading it, it said that all countries that signed on to the Geneva Convention would have to support any nation that had this belligerent occupation. Of course, all the nations of the world have this belligerent occupation, right? This is a deep state.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it kind of occurs to me that this could be a white hat operation, and the whole intent of this, they would use any methods at their disposal to awaken the public without doing so obviously that these people were evil. So what was going on in Afghanistan, it certainly awakened a lot of the public to the evil of the Fino.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he's lost more ground because of what's happened what's happened in Afghanistan than anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, the deep state would be fully in control of such things, so you would not have expected that to happen to them. So that's what kind of makes me believe that just maybe BCP was onto something. I'm not 100% sure of that, of course. But just keeping an eye out, I think we're going to find out soon enough.
Yeah. Well, people are finding out the true nature of the plans that the Build Back Better was all about. Build Back Beijing Better. I think BCP said that.
Well, I think people ought to point out that if anybody, look, if you just take the first letter, the BBB, and you tilt it, you make it lowercase letters, and you tilt it slightly, you get 666.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then Biden was trying to pass the 3.5 $1 trillion program, was saying whether it takes 6 hours or 6 weeks or 6 months, we're going to get this thing passed.
Yeah.
And there again, so he's saying 666 again.
Right.
And it's pretty darn obvious.
Yeah, their symbolism will be their downfall, right?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious if people are paying attention to, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well,
just like how Trump used to use the number 17 all the time. Have you seen that video of him saying 17? He must say it like 100 or more times, and they're all different recordings, or a couple hundred times.
Wow.
Yeah. Because he said, he goes, I haven't been to Washington, D.C. much before I, got elected. I think I was here, 17 times? 17 times I was here.
Oh, right.
Everything was 17.
Well, did you notice there's 17 Americans kidnapped in Haiti?
Oh.
Did you notice that?
No, I did not. Oh yeah. 17 people, but 16 are Americans, right? Or is it 18 people?
Else was 17 that they mentioned about, as we listen to the news,
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me, I don't know, some of these things make you wonder whether or not it's there to tell us that, this has another purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
Right. People that... Yeah, very good point. I think you got something there. People in the chat are talking about the Thunderbird, about the legend of the Thunderbird. Oh, yeah. The pterodactyl is the Thunderbird, and this could be the mystery solved. And so Kelly George says it's been maybe it's the Thunderbird. It's been decades since I heard 3 kids were chased in the 70s. She remembers possibly.
Right. Somewhere in Illinois, I think there was someone saying that this thing had come down and grabbed him.
Oh.
I can't remember.
Austin Morris says that I always heard that the Thunderbird has feathers and looks like a big falcon or eagle. I don't know. I think some dinosaurs did have feathers, and probably a pterodactyl would be a good bet to have feathers. I mean, they're flying. I mean, because all a feather is a modified scale, scale. So the scales just split. They got a little longer, and they were insulative, but they also helped buoyancy, right, for flying.
Right. Well, there's another thing that you guys were talking about the other day was, giants, and there's a Michael Tellinger video out there that's great, because this guy is describing how mud fossils form.
Oh.
Mud fossils are unique in that you can have whole tissues preserved when it's covered with mud. You don't have to get a fossil. You can actually see the physical object, because the mud cuts off the air that would normally cause the things to degrade.
Mm-hmm.
And the metals and minerals in the soil could penetrate the tissues and fossilize whole tissues rather than just bones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, he was in one of his videos. I assume it's still on the web. I haven't looked lately. He's going out there and he's got walking along this hillside. He's pointing out the unusual fossils, and he picks up thing and it says this fossil has been identified as reptilian skin.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing that, right? And he says, and he said we found all kinds of other things. He said, but there's these weird fossils, and he shows one. And then he says, this looks like, it's got a strange shape. It looks like a bone. But it can't be a bone. It looks like a human bone from the arm. This bone is like 7 foot long.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looking further, and he finds, I kid you not, this is why you should go look up this video. He finds what appears to be a humanoid skull that weighed over 3,000 pounds.
Okay.
And so he did some projections, like what if this was a human, that certainly looked like a skull of a human, how tall would this human have to be for its skull to be 3,000 some pounds? And the figure was 78 feet.
Wow.
And that's an extremely good episode for people to look at. I think it's Michael Tellinger.
Okay.
He's from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one who points out there are all these like bowl-like structures, like parabolas, and each one's producing a different frequency, and they're trying to figure out what these things are. They thought, well, maybe it's where they kept cattle inside these things. I said, no, because all the plant life dies inside these things. They're being bombarded with some kind of frequencies that kill the plants even in these things. And then he notices the satellite images show that these much bigger depressions in the ground that look like bowls exist all along the western coast of Africa. All the way up the length of Africa on the western side. And some of these things are hundreds of feet across. And have no idea how they're constructed or who constructed it. And of course, he tells the story of how I don't know where he gets this information that shows that the Anunnaki, the place where man was created, supposedly points to a particular place in South Africa. Versus humankind was created. Well, anyway, so there's all these things in mud fossils of what appear to be giant humans living alongside a reptilian-like creatures of some kind. And there's regular humanoid sizes. And then I'm reminded the archaeologist who discovered the Book of Enoch in Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
He also found another book called The Revelation of Adam. And there are some excerpts on the web of this, or there used to were, and there's some in there that obviously look like people tried to modify it, maybe fake it or whatever. So you don't know entirely what's real. But what strikes me when you find and you're reading it, it's supposed to tell the story about how and why man was created. And it's talking about the Watchers and how they mated with the daughters of man. And of course, back then, the man they were talking about were primarily African Americans. Well, we would call, they definitely were dark skinned.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that in the excerpt of this Revelation of Adam, it says that there were two results from mating with the daughters of man. One were giants, and it says the other was beings with supernatural powers. guess which ones we are?
The ones with supernatural powers.
Exactly, and it goes further. It says, the literal translation of the writing says, we are special because we have a golden soul.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I thought about that a lot. And of course, there's this writings from ancient Egypt that I think predate mankind. I think this is from the Anunnaki, were the people who actually created the pyramids, I think. And then some of this can be borne out in reading the Chronicles of the Emerald Tablet. And the Emerald Tablet, reading some of that. But anyway, what if this 2D superconductor made out of gold is the basis for our souls? That's what I speculate is the reality. And this transdimensional 2D superconductor is the superconductor matrix that's throughout the multiverse. It's kind of like, if you want to think of another term, it's kind of like the ether that permeates everything. It is the mind of God. It is the physical part of the mind of God. The consciousness is stored within that. Anyway, this is
interesting.
Interesting
concept. Who knows? It could be true. Who knows?
Right. So I mean,
funny you should
prove that.
Funny you should mention those big divots in Africa, like in the stone, like almost like tubs or something.
Right.
Well, I came across something today, and I was very curious. Never seen this before, but it's these Kazakhstan's huge stone spheres have scientists puzzled. They're of all sizes, and I'm showing a picture here. It shows a close-up of one, but part of it's been kind of broken off. Oh, it almost looks like there might have been some kind of gearing here around this, and it's got like an inner circular part. So, I mean, it does not look natural unless it's a growing mineral living thing that's growing uniformly all around to make the round shape, or it's manufactured somehow by ancient beings. But they do look very natural in shape, so I don't know. It's very puzzling. Have you ever seen the Kazakhstan huge stone spheres?
No, I've seen the ones that they found down in Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah, those are more uniform and perfect. These ones are not exactly perfect. That's what makes me think these might be natural instead of man-made. But it's puzzling. Who knows? It's bizarre, and it shows people walking amongst them, and some of the rocks are way taller than the people, and they're just everywhere. But they're not all perfectly round. They look extremely, extremely old, like they've been there very, very long time. So maybe they were round at some point. I don't know. Very curious.
Yeah, there's so many rabbit holes one could go down,
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Infinite variety of mysteries in this world, and for us to try to understand, and it's
millstone.
Pretty amazing.
Millstone, Kelly George says. Yeah, giant millstone. And then Edward Taylor says, spheres everywhere, old news, ancient aliens. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then there's this tiny modules in some of the oldest sediments known, or I guess, that look just like Iapetus. I can't remember if that's the moon of Saturn. I think it's the moon of Saturn. And it's the one that looks like the Death Star.
Oh yeah, okay.
But all these little things, nodules, they're like there's some variability in size, but they're like roughly 2 inches in diameter, and tens of thousands of them found around the world. And then inside them, there's some kind of porous structure, and people question whether or not there might have been genetic material in there one time, and it was used to seed the planet.
Yeah.
To seed Earth, you know.
Yeah.
Because it looks, I mean, it has the ridge around the center, right? It looks like iapetus. It looks like two halves of the moon were put together and like welded together almost. It looks like. Then has the giant, what looks like a giant dish, like. And where I first encountered this was looking at Richard Hoagland's site, enterprisemission.com.
Okay.
And you put in iapetus, which let's see, well, IAE. Okay, iapetus.
Oh, are you asking me to look something up right now?
Huh?
Do you want me to look something up? I'm sorry, I was distracted.
You can, if you want.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the chat, and I was kind of trying to multitask, but I should never try to do that. Okay, what do you want me to look up?
Well, there's a whole section on the enterprisemission.com about iapetus, and I'm trying to remember how to spell iapetus. I think it's IAE. PETUS or something, iapetus.
Enterprisemission.com. Well, let me get there first.
Yeah, that's Richard Hoagland's site.
Oh, that's Richard Hoagland. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really follow him so much, but you say he's got some iapetus. I'll just scroll through here, see if I see it.
There's another really fascinating thing that people ought to look up there, which are IR images of the Mars, especially Cydonia region. And there's a whole analysis of this ground penetrating, essentially infrared radar that could penetrate through the ground. And they said that there was a layer of sand, and then underneath that was ice, huge thickness of ice, and under the ice was cities. And they showed you the images and compared it to images here on Earth and of the cities. It's a fascinating, very mind-boggling set of images. I think they called IR images. But they had IR images of Cydonia or something.
Okay, I'm actually scrolling through his site here. He's got a lot of things on here.
Oh, there's so much.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to highlight. The most amazing things I ever saw on the site.
Okay. The spiral, dark mission.
He published these a long time ago, like 5-6 years ago, but I don't think he's been very active.
Okay.
On there for a long time.
Right.
But IR images of Cydonia, that's something people should look for on that site. It will blow you away when you see these images.
Okay.
They tell you how the images were made. It shows essentially what ground penetrating radar reveals about that whole area in Cydonia, that underneath the sand there is a whole gigantic city complex. And these giant tubes that cross Mars.
Yeah, the lava tubes. Lava tubes, yeah.
One of them comes up in the middle of the city. So it's quite extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there's just so much here. Wow. So yeah, check that out, folks. It's enterprisemissions.com. Yeah, it's too much to get into here. I mean, it's too much. Maybe
oh yeah.
have to
The
look at
best
some
things,
other
like I
time.
said, I saw were, I think the phrase you should type in there, searching in there in that site is IR images of Cydonia.
Oh, I don't really see any place to type anything in here.
Search button or something.
Hmm.
Or maybe within your favorite search engine, you put IR images of Cydonia and then put the site enterprisemission.com or something. And the moon iapetus, that's the other thing that's extraordinary. There's like a 5-part series of that.
Okay.
Anybody who's fascinated by what will be on Mars, I think should do the IR images. When they see that, they're like,
all right, I put IR images of Cydonia. I don't even know if I'm spelling Cydonia right, but I'll just do a quick little screenshot of this. Yeah.
Cydonia, Cydonia, I think. Cydonia.
All right. I think it was close enough to get this. So we'll see a few of these on here. Are you talking about the multicolored ones that look like sort of like an X-ray or something, or?
Yeah.
Okay. That just shows the different types of rock or something. I don't know.
Well, the ground penetrating radars, if you find images, you'll see the structures. You'll see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Buildings.
We're looking at them now. I mean, oops.
But if you find the link to enterprisemission.com, you'll see a whole. They're organized. They're comparing it to Earth structures.
Okay, we're just looking at
There's a high resolution, full high resolution, several megabytes, maybe 10 megabytes data file. If you want to see the whole thing all in one place.
Hmm.
And back at the time this first came out, that was 10 megabytes was a huge data file to be manipulating on your computer, because that's back in the days of when it first came out. You had dial-up.
Mm-hmm.
10 megabytes was just insane size.
Mm-hmm. There's just a ton of pictures here for some people to look at. Look at this thing over here. This is pretty cool. Yeah, there's, boy, some of these images, it could just keep you busy forever, huh? So many.
Yeah, anyway. There's some great places to go to awaken further as to there's a lot of information on that enterprisemission.com that you can get lost in. There's so much information, but most of it didn't impress me all that much, except for a few things. I'll try to give you those few things.
Well, I'm sorry, I couldn't. I wasn't able to exactly find what how to do it, how to get to what you're talking about there. But I'll have to look off air when there's no pressure on me, and I can find it maybe.
Right. There's also some great images on that. Also of the trees, the evidence for trees on Mars.
Right. I've seen those. Yeah.
There's evidence of trees 2 miles in diameter.
Oh, they might be trees. Yeah. There's some contention they could be mineral growths, or there's.
Well, they show it for different seasons on Mars. and part of the season you can't see the branches, and other part of the season you can see what looks like branches, as if the tree has shedded its leaves. Can you imagine how many leaves you would get from a tree 2 miles in diameter?
And they'd be all over the planet. I don't see them blowing around, so, right?
I think they compare it to banyan trees or something, I think.
They're all spread out. Yeah, I've seen those images. Yeah, and I've also seen images where they say it looks like cattle or some kind of migratory animals, but those could just be rocks too. I mean, they're not uniform.
Well, they show having some lakes and water on the surface, and and then it looks like scrub brushes or trees or something.
There's so many interesting places they could send those darn rovers to, but they never do. They never send them to an interesting place.
Of course, they're not trying to. They don't want to tell us the truth. They get the designation is never a straight answer for good reason. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the same thing we're fighting, folks. It's disclosure is going to happen when we win, and we're going to win soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come organically and naturally as soon as this great evil is taken down.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, here's a nice little truth meme here. Let's see. The most stunning medical quote ever made by a Harvard professor. The FDA protects the big drug companies, and it's subsequently rewarded. And using the government's police powers, they attack those who threaten the big drug companies. Of course, we know that. The thing that bugs me is that people think that the FDA is protecting them. It isn't. What the FDA is doing and what the public thinks it is doing are as different as night and day. And that was Dr. Herbert Lay, former commissioner of the U.S. FDA. Yep.
And you know who they say, if there's one company that controls the FDA, well, which company that is?
No. What is it?
Pfizer.
Okay.
So does any wonder that their pinprick is approved
lollipop
before anybody else?
Well, I don't think it's approved yet, but yeah, they're trying to get the young kids. This has got to stop, people. We need to stand up and protect these kids from this experimental horror show that they're rolling out. 2 people dying per day for every 100,000 people per day. That's 1,000, like 1,000 a day, 2,000 a day.
2,000 per 100 million.
2,000 a day per 100 million.
2,000 per 100 million, and that's per 100 million pinpricked. Okay, and if you believe I'll go through those figures again. There's 365 million people in the United States, and we're told by the media that 70% have been pinpricked.
Or lollipop. They got the lollipop.
Or they've been lollipopped. Okay, that's 255.5 million people is what that comes out to. Okay, and so 2.55 times 2,000 is 5,110 people per day that have gotten the lollipop die. Okay, times 365 days in a year gives you 1,865,150 people that die a year from just a pinprick. Yeah,
well, you can put my dad in that list because he died of a blood clot in the lung. So there you go.
Now look at what we're told about Colin Powell. The media said not only did Colin Powell had the pinprick, right, fully pinprick,
the lollipop.
But as what?
Let's use the lollipop.
Fully lollipop.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Lollipop.
Yeah.
And then his wife was lollipopped. And they're both in the hospital. And we're told that this rare occurrence occurred, right? This rare, what is it called? The breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
What's the likely of a rare occurrence occurring twice in the same family at the same time? It's almost as like one person got it and then the other caught it from the other. And so
you're saying his wife died too?
No, his wife's in the hospital though.
Oh.
So they both got sick. They both were fully lollipopped.
Well,
so how's that happen?
Well, I got a theory about that. I have a little theory. So let's just imagine that there's, we don't have to imagine because of the last indictment from Durham. He mentions a grand jury. So maybe he was sentenced, and maybe this is how they administered it. Maybe the bad guys who got convicted of something bad, they get the bad lollipop. Maybe that's what's happening. Possibility.
It seems so strange that two people that were fully lollipopped can get this cold breakthrough infection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe transmit it to the other person in the family,
mm-hmm.
which is not supposed to be possible if you've been lollipopped, right?
No, they admit it now. I mean, it's they're shedding like crazy, and I think more than 60% of the new cases are people who have had lollipops. So it's
Right.
it's their narrative is
falling apart. Yeah.
It's the only thing keeping it together. Oh, and not one single show on CNN in the last week had over 1 million viewers. Not a single show.
Yeah.
So they're on their way out. Enemy of the people. They're finally being recognized as that, and people are turning them off. I think.
Well, you can see it's coming to a crescendo. It really is starting to, and I think that crescendo will be the Durham.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Beatrice.
When's it going to happen?
When
it be 11/9? I don't know.
Well, you know what? He's got 2,000 lawyers working on this for 2 years, 3 years.
Oh,
so I think this is like a grand, some kind of giant clockwork. Everything has to be turning right at just the right time. And can you imagine trying to organize 2,000 different lawyers and try to get, okay, we got to get this guy before we get this guy. We got to indict this person, but we can't tell him. We need to execute this person. How are we going to do it? Oh, let's do the lollipop. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I think it's
a massive scale. It's occurring worldwide. It's not just here.
Yeah.
And think about this. Oh, I saw another thing. Remember, we're showing in the drops. We're showing this clock, and it shows 10 after 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people saying, let's see, that's October through February. Well, I thought about this a minute. 10 also, if you take 1 from 10 on one side, right, with making it 9, and add to the other side, you get 11, 9 again. So anyway, I thought I'd point that out.
Okay.
There's code throughout the drops. I'm just trying to tell you that.
Right. I know that. Yeah.
Code that nobody's seen yet. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But
okay.
Even Max has that code in it.
Okay.
So I'll illustrate here. You got M is 13, and then A is 1, and then X is 24, and you get 38. And you add that up. You say, oh, that doesn't say 11, 9. Well, yeah, it actually does. Remember, I was pointing out back in the first time I came on there, was talking about how even in the name of Jesus Christ, it coded for 7-4, right? 74.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 74 or 74 actually codes for 11-9. So
Mm-hmm.
does 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
All those things I was telling you about all code for 11-9. Okay, well, let's take the example 38, right? Because 3 and 8 is 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 11. You say, okay, well, where's the 9 come from? Well, when you say 11, it's 11-0, right? Okay, but 0 in this math can be replaced by 9. Think about it a minute. 9 added to anything in this math gives you what the thing you started with. Let's take the example. What if you add a digits for 11, 1 and 1, you get 2, right? So let's take 11, add 9 to it, right? You get 20, right? Which is 2. Because 2 plus 0 is 2. It codes for the same thing.
Okay.
So 11-9 is also coded by 11. All these things that added to 11, 7-4, 8-3, 9-2. Remember all those things I was showing you in throughout our TV shows and names of famous people.
Mm-hmm.
It's there for a reason. It's built into the fabric of our reality. This is destiny. This is part of the underlying matrix of reality, in which, of course, God, the source. This was going to happen. The Patriot movement, all of it's predestined to a degree, right? We have free will.
Mm-hmm.
When it happens depends on each individual civilization, but it will happen. Evil will fail. Remember, evil is only here as a training aid. So the simulation will end. You'll wake up from it, and our reality will be different. That's the ascension process. I'm just trying to show you even it's coded throughout a reality. And I know
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you said that.
Most people have trouble grasping what I'm saying, but
right. Well, but you've been studying it. You've been like living it. So it's hard. It's really hard to get people to see what you see. It's really hard to do.
Well, it's kind of like the gentleman that talks about what's going on in 1972.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things there. There's a lot of things to what he's saying that you really dig into. You're saying, "Whoa!" Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is part of it. You know, this is part of the underlying structure of how everything in our universe is constructed. I won't belabor this point too much longer, but the essence of what I want to try to tell people is if you take the patterns of all the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, add them together in certain ways, you get all the mathematics that we know. For example, we know what happens if you add 1, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But if you have 2, you get multiples of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10, and you can reduce that further to 1, and then 12 reduces to 3. So it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8. They repeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what 2 does. What 3 does? 3 does. 3, 6, 9, 12. Well, you add the digits to 12. That's 3. So it repeats.
Mm-hmm.
3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9 ad infinitum. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now 4 is 4, 8, 12, which is 3, and then you can figure it out. Then 16 is 7. It's a little more complex pattern, right? Okay. 5 is 5, 1, because 10, right?
Mhm.
And then 15 is 6, 2. Now that pattern appears, that's in the drops. I'm telling you, nobody could told you this before. It's right there to be seen.
Okay.
That's the energy of the Patriot. That's Patriot energy 5.
5, yeah.
Base energy 5.
All right.
And higher octaves are 14, 23, 32, 41, 50, 59, the things that add up to ultimately and reduced to 5. Okay, 6 repeats 639, 639, 639, 7. Okay, 7 does something strange. It goes 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2, 9, 7, 5, 3, 1. You see a pattern? That's a pattern that you get from 7. 8 does something. There's another thing referenced in the drops because 8 is God energy. 17 is God energy. 1 and 7. Okay. 2, 6, which literally the digits, the word God, when you add the digits, gets 2, 6, 26.
Yeah.
Okay, but 8 does 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It counts down. That's in the drops. It's in the drops for a reason. I'm just telling you that. Okay. Then of course 9 always is 9. So 9, and then next one is 18, right? Which adds to 9, and then next thing is 27, which adds to 9, and then next thing is 36, which adds to 9. So 9 is 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9,
Right. Yeah. It's
anything
curious.
that adds to a multiple of 9 is divisible by 9. So there's actual consequences of these things. Like if I take a number made of all the digits, remember I think I did this before, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 9,876,500 I think 9,876,543,210 makes up all the digits, right?
Okay.
There's 10 factorial combinations of that number. It doesn't matter which combination of that number of those digits, the way you rearrange it. Every single number is divisible by 9.
Okay.
Because all the digits add to 9. That's something you can use. Like if you've got a number and you're looking at it and you just add the digits and say it adds to 27, which is a multiple of 9, you know that number is divisible by 9. Well, technologically, you can use that in trying to determine whether or not something's a prime number. There's a number of things one can do, but you can develop computer algorithms that allow one to factor a number quickly. So I'm telling you some of the things that are possible will be done with those different patterns. But anyway, everything we know is made of those patterns combined. The patterns associated with 2 combined with the patterns associated with 8, and I don't want to give it away, but there's everything from genetics, the 3 codons that are used in the genetics, and their base pairs.
Yeah.
All related to this math. I'm just going to tell you that.
Okay.
All the mathematics that we've come up to date is all related to that. Maybe someday I will go into one of those. It's a little, probably too much. It'll be too boring for most people, so I don't want to talk about it too much. But I want to get some of the people out there that are interested in that to think about that. This is the underlying, these patterns are the underlying patterns of the universe.
Yeah. Well,
That's what makes it that math important. That's why this isn't just some. This isn't some me adding digits together and say, "Oh, look at this," you know. No, this is underlying patterns.
mm-hmm.
This is the basis of our reality. And when you do that, when you start looking at it, you realize that what's happening now comes out naturally from the progression of our universe.
Mm-hmm.
This ascension process, what we're going through, not only occurs here, but everywhere else in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And very much the same way. They're probably the equivalent of what they call 1776 in those other worlds taking place. These patterns are recurring.
Mm-hmm. Now, the 369 is being brought up in the chat by a few people, Peggy Dancer and Red in the Valley. Didn't Nikola Tesla said 3, 6, and 9, if you understand 3, 6, and 9, you can understand the universe or something like that, right?
Yeah. Now, I'll give you one other thing, and I'll stop on this whole thing. If you make a clock, and but instead of clock starting at 12, have it start at 9, 9th at the top, and then every 40 degrees, because 9 times 40 is 360, right? To make a full circle. Every 40 degrees, start for the number. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 9, right? When you do certain numbers, you make triangles, right? So 1, 4, 7 makes a triangle. 2, 5, 8 makes a triangle, and 3, 6, 9 makes a triangle. Okay? There's a significance of this. Now, think of this. Imagine 2, 5, 8. The numbers 2, 5, 8 as representing matter. And let's say 1, 4, 7 represents antimatter. And 3, 6, 9 represent energy. Okay, so what happens when you add one matter? You know what happens when you react matter with antimatter? What do you get?
Boom.
Energy, right?
Boom.
Right. Energy. Massive amount of energy. So add 2 and one of the numbers, any of the numbers from the 1, 4, 7. 2 plus 1 is 3, energy. 2 plus 4 is 6. 2 plus 7 is 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first digit. So do the next one. 5. What's 5 plus 1 is 6. 5 plus 4 is 9. 5 plus 7 is 12, which reduces to 3. Okay. Now do 8. You got 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. 8 plus 4 is 8 plus 4 is 12, which is 3. Reduces to 3. And 8 plus 7 is what? It's 15, which reduces to 6. So you see, if you add 258 to 147, you get 369. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens if you add the 369 to any one of those things? So 3 plus the 258. 3 plus 2 is 5. It stays in the same row. 3 plus, that'd be 6 plus 6 plus 2 is 8. It's also the same row. 9 plus 2 is 11, which is 2. Okay, so I'm just trying to show you some relationships there.
Okay.
And you can get those relationships by, like I said, making a clock that has 9 numbers on it, and then drawing the triangles between them.
Right.
Around it.
Right. I think I'm going to have to rewatch this with pad and paper and do a lot of rewinding to try and figure some of this stuff out. But it's all.
Well, just some patterns, just things to look at. Those occur in nature. I'll give you little pieces at a time. I mean,
yeah.
I know
Very
it does zoom right past you the first time. You're like, what was that?
Max, it's going to zoom right past me most of the times. Most of the time.
Well, don't feel bad. I mean,
I don't. I don't feel bad. No, I
we
don't.
all have unique skills, you know.
Yeah.
We're all here for different reasons. We all have different things to add.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's more important than the other,
That's right.
you know. So that's why, for the most part, why I don't go public.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's potential danger, but more than that, it's not important to who I am.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we sure appreciate you coming on here and giving us all your wisdom, because it's very, very interesting. You know, there's so much to numbers, so much more than I ever thought. There's just so much to it, you know. It's very, very interesting. Hello, Des Volt and Abby and everybody. Red in the
Look for
Valley.
those patterns in the drops.
Uh-huh.
Look for those patterns in the drops, and you will find them. They're all over the place in those drops.
And if you like the drops, you follow that curious number in the alphabet or letter that corresponds with 17. A friend of mine, Todd Swearingen, just got a Truth Quest hoodie with the logo on it, and it's so big and it's gold, you can see it from like a mile away. So you get one of those, people are going to know you're into Q. So there you go.
Yeah.
I want to show something here that I saw a while ago, and I saw it again today, and I thought, you know, this would be a good thing to talk about as an example. I've never looked into this. I saw it once, and it was sort of intriguing to me, but I have a feeling it's probably not true. And the thing of it is it's supposedly, well, I'll just read it here. Technology from a Devilino world woke up by the vigilant. Extremely strange ancient Mayan statue with face covered with QR code. Now, this might have been just, you know, carved by someone recently. It just looks like a hoax to me. I don't know. Is it real? Could someone have carved something that looks exactly like a QR code back then? I guess it's possible, but this just seems like it's not true. I don't know. It's my gut feeling. What do you guys in the chat think about that? Have you guys seen that? Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever seen that one, Max?
No, I haven't. That's interesting.
Yeah.
When we remember when we put our intentions out there to the universe, that think big.
Mm-hmm.
If you say, okay, if I say, okay, I'm going to send love, or I'm going to send healing to the multiverse, you think, what could that possibly do? It's more than you imagine, because your intention is is like a resonant pulse. You cause other consciousness to resonate with it.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time it travels through the multiverse, it becomes massive. In doing that, you literally change our future.
Mm-hmm.
In a very, very positive way.
Mm-hmm.
If I say, think big.
Think big.
Put your intentions out there.
Yeah. Hey, an example of that is what happened today when I first started the show. I heard something slam into my spaceship as I was taking off. And if you tuned in early, you noticed that I turned around, and lo and behold, there's Captain Kirk trying to get in the window. There he is, right there. And some people have noticed it. Dark Brain just noticed it. Yes. See, he just wants to be in space so much. He saw my spaceship taking off, and he just grabbed on. He's trying to get on. But so that was kind of fun. Another thing, what you said about intentions, I am working right now on a couple of books And this is a sketch from the second book. And actually, this was this page in this book is going to be added because of the request of one of the listeners named Mike. And so the second book is going to be Awesome Possum Goes to School. And he thought, I read it to him and he said, you know what? Maybe he should be where is it? Oh my gosh. Doing the Pledge of Allegiance. And so, where is it? Find it. So there's the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll just hope that it's up there. And so the way I have it written so far on that page is because this is his first day of school. And this is nice because a lot of people are homeschooling. Oh, no, it didn't. It didn't do it. Doggone it. It screwed up. Oh, boy. Oh, so there it is. Is that it? See if this is going to work. There, now I think we got it. So this is a rough sketch. It's not done yet, but okay, the words for the thing is going to be, we proudly face the flag with our hand on our heart. We all say the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I'm adding that into the book. So when the books get done and you get these for your kid, it's going to have that in it. So I think it's an important thing. And I thank Mike for bringing that up. That was a very good idea. And so that's going to be in there. And all the kids are going to be standing up and hand in their hearts, proudly reciting that, because you know what, Max, I was asleep and I was a liberal. Let's just go out and say it.
Well, I was leaning that way anyway.
And I remember it wasn't too long ago that with growing up in that kind of mindset and listening to everything they say, I was starting to not like the flag. I didn't like the design of it, didn't like the fact that the red was blood. But boy, there's this dramatization, a reading of what happened and when America resisted and the British were bombing, what was it, Fort Sumter?
Right.
And they said, because the guy who wrote the Star Spangled Banner was like a liaison. He was going back and forth, and he was trying to lobby to get the prisoners freed from these British ships. And he finally did get an agreement to release the prisoners. And he went over there and he said, here's my paperwork, and I want to release these prisoners. And the captain said, well, this is all well and good, and paperwork looks all in order, but I think it's going to be a moot point. And he said, well, what are you talking about? He said, see over on the horizon, see those little dots on the horizon? That's the entire British fleet coming. And we're going to come and we're going to focus all of our cannons on that fort right there. And he goes, well, you can't do that. That's not strictly a military fort. It's a working fort. They have families there and children. I said, well, if you want, we won't shoot our cannons at that fort. All you have to do is lower the flag and surrender. And so what they did was when the ships came, they started shooting. And when the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in midair, gave proof to the night. So what happened was the guy who wrote Star Spangled Banner was watching what was happening. He was going down below deck, telling all the people, the prisoners, what was happening. And they were all praying down there. And they did knock down that flag many times. But what happened was the Patriots went in and put it back up. And a lot of people died. And at the end, it was just the flag was being held up by the dead bodies of the Patriots who were holding it up. And it just gave me such a renewed patriotism. Like, wow, they really, really wanted freedom that badly, to not let that flag fall and to spend their lives holding that flag up to keep this idea of freedom alive. It was just, if you want to look it up, and it's just amazing. And he went on to write that Star Spangled Banner, which is just incredible. When next time you hear it, I mean, think about that story, how incredibly brave these men and women at this fort that staved off the world's greatest navy by sheer willpower and patriotism. Wow.
Well, think of the effect that the Star Spangled Banner and the Pledge of Allegiance has had on our country.
Mm-hmm.
We all learned it. We all had to learn it in school and whatever. You think that's going to leave us quickly, no matter what that's thrown at us? It's not. They were, evil was severely wrong, and they thought they could just whip that out of us.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't going to happen. Patriotism runs deep in this country.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you've got a D or an R beside your name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
So they didn't count on that. Of course, that's the nature of reality. Evil never counts on the strength that good gives people.
Mm-hmm.
Patriotism is a major reason why this country will never fall. It wasn't written to fall.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it was written to succeed. It was written to lead our country special, and that it was essentially destined to lead the world.
Mm-hmm.
And lead the world to freedom, not just us, all of humanity. And that's what's playing out right now. And in case any of you guys, anybody gets down, don't worry. God always wins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? God always wins. That's what's playing out. That's what's playing out. This is part of that's part of our lesson. We're in kindergarten, humanities in kindergarten. We're learning this patriotic lesson. God always wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's playing out for all humanity. God, there is a rhyme and reason. There is a reason for evils. When I was growing up, I always had this problem. Like, if God is all powerful, why does evil exist? It's a very important question.
Mm-hmm.
Why does evil exist? Why is it allowed to exist?
Yeah.
It's allowed to exist because it's made that way for our training. It only exists for a time while we need it for our training. Okay? And so we've all, the more we understand about that, we understand we've all, via reincarnation, have played the bad guy over and over and over again, to get to where we're at today. Okay? So we shouldn't we should be careful about looking down on these other people because they're all creations of God. That's the other thing people, think of, why are we to love our enemies? Well, It's not because we agree with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have different philosophies that we don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's because they're God's creation. It's because they're God's creation that we're to show them the same love, even if they don't love us back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because if we're all one, if we're mean to someone else, we're really being mean to ourselves. So, you know, it's like it's the golden rule, you know, treat others how you want to be treated. That's like, that should be really.
I'm trying to tie it all together. You know, we were all there. We all experienced that. We were all a bad person. Look where we are now. Okay? Those people are all redeemable. Nobody's left behind by God. Okay? They might have to repeat kindergarten again until they learn the lesson, but they'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. Nobody gets left behind. If you've got family members and you're worried about them and, you know, they're not going to make it to this time, don't worry. They will make it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not this time, you know, but they will.
Mm-hmm.
Fear not. Yeah.
Fear
No
not.
fear.
Fear not.
Yeah.
Definitely fear not.
So, you know, it gives you some perspective. It gives you the ability to show them compassion. You know not to put yourself in the middle of a pack of them, right? Because you know they're going to cancel you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of this cancel culture. That's part of being intelligent, not to put yourself in the middle. But that doesn't mean you can't have compassion for them and to just don't direct. The more evil those people are, and most of those people aren't evil, they are confused. You know?
I just put a picture up of a guy I drew quite a long time ago. He's a little guy. He's a skateboarder. And on the bottom of his skateboard, it says, "Fear not."
Yeah.
Fear not. You're nothing to fear but fear itself. And this guy's just going nuts in this thing.
So this is all playing out like it's supposed to play out, and it's played out everywhere else in the universe. It's going to play out that way here too. Except we all have, we can affect this, of course, with our consciousness. That's what we are doing, and we're supernatural beings of immense power. We can change the structure of our multiverse so that we can bring about the ascension of the world just by our intention. We make it easier for other worlds. We can pray. We can send our attention out there that other worlds will wake up to the evil that they're facing, and they will rise to the occasion. And in doing so, we are helping countless worlds, via our consciousness. I know that, it sounds all woo-woo, I know how that, but it's real. Our whole path, our whole existence, is about learning these truths, learning the power of our consciousness, growing in our resonating with higher levels of goodness. And with each level of achievement, we gain and can access powers of the higher consciousness, meaning our powers approach godlike powers. We have those rested within us. It's just we're not there yet to properly use those powers within us. Not all of them. It's like, are you going to tell as a kindergartner to get behind a wheel and drive? No. The child hasn't learned, all the rules of the road. Their brain hasn't fully developed enough to understand that, and can't even reach the pedals. You know.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way, we can't reach the pedals of, you know, using mind over matter. Even though we do it, we do it. Some things right now we are changing our reality just with our every intention.
Mm-hmm.
Something we do without understanding of how we're doing it. You know, what we're learning is that more and more is, oh, we actually have this ability. Oh, wow, we could do this. We could, and then we learn what we should not do. Right? Part of it, we should learn. Well, even though you have this great power, with great power comes great responsibility. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, these phrases we've all learned. They're phrases are there for a reason. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then of course there are phrases that are put out there to try to confuse us and see if we've learned a lesson or not. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Evil's constantly trying to say, did you learn your lesson, or are you going to revert to the bad habits? Right?
Right. Good night, Mud Rabbit. Good night, Mud Rabbit. Oh, have a nice stasis. Have a good day tomorrow. Yeah, I hope you have a good day tomorrow. I wonder what that's about. I'll have to go back and check. Captain Kirk is a great addition there. Yeah. How do you put him up there? It was.
We'll get to a certain level of proficiency, then we ascend.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's all about. Anyway.
Right. And until we ascend, I'm going to keep wearing my Invisimask shirt around town, like I got there, picture there from Gloss Coffee Shop, in there with my nothing but my Invisimask on and my Invisimask shirt and everything else like that. So yeah, it was fun. There you go. There it is.
So did anybody see David Wilcox's pay-per-view presentation?
No, I can't afford that. I'm low budget here, so I've. Go ahead.
I just wondered if we have the name of his insider.
Hmm.
You know, we were told that he's the CEO of a major aerospace company.
Okay.
So I'm just curious if we know who that guy, the name of that guy is yet. So.
No, I haven't heard. I'll keep an eye out though. I got a lot of friends in the know that I see posts from every day. Sleep well. Okay. Sleep well. Okay. Gotcha, Dark Brain. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, so I'm working on these. Go ahead.
I was going to say, even if you add up all the digits of your name, your full name, you'll learn about that you put out two main energies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, at least one of the, usually one, a lot of times it's the last name, will add up to 3, 6, or 9, or it could be the middle or first name. But the other two names will add up. Their base energies will be, 2, 4, 5, 7, whatever. Well, these energies you can use to look at what will combine genetically with your mate. To see what the likely energies that are associated with that. Like if you get God energy a lot, or if you get Patriot energy a lot, you might have a particular special role to play.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But everybody has a different role, But
uh-huh.
But I'm convinced that these patterns that are we automatically, when our parents were thinking up our name, their choice of those names were guided.
Mm-hmm. I figured out what my role is. My role is the jelly roll, but the jelly's not very good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. There's lots of things that you're fantastic things that you put out. The awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
The skills that you have and the.
Speaking of the awesome possum, I had an idea years ago, and I actually got a utility patent on it, and Play School made it, and I'm making them now myself. And let me just show you what they look like. They're called button-ons, and they teach kids how to button. So, and there's an awesome possum. Here's just a generic dog. But so they have a little slit in them here, and you just button it right on your button. It teaches a kid how to button, and it's a button-on buddy to wear and share. So there you go. And I make little bracelets so the kids could wear them on bracelets too. Oh, I got two of the same one. That won't do. Here's one skateboarding. There we go. The button-ons. A button-on buddy to wear and share. There. Fun, huh? And you can sew a button on a t-shirt too if the kid doesn't have any buttons. So there you go. The button-ons. And there's even a blue cat. Check that out. Isn't that guy cute? Cute little blue cat. So those are the button-ons. Yeah. And I actually got a utility patent on that. That's hard to get, a utility patent.
Well, I've written a number of patents in my life. Actually, if people need help writing a patent, I can tell them how to do that.
Oh, yeah? Thanks.
So, what to do and what to not do, and when sometimes it's not appropriate to even file a patent. For some of the best ideas, you don't want to file a patent.
Right. Yeah, you just put it out.
Because there's so many evil people in this world
Mm-hmm.
that have the money to go around your patents, right?
Right.
So if they don't know what you're doing, or that if it's a trade secret, you keep it as a trade secret.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got to be alert that if it's worth enough, that they'll try to infiltrate you to find out what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I almost didn't tell anybody about my time machine because I thought people might copy it, but I couldn't hold it back from the public. I had to let the public know. And of course, we already have 3 out there. People are time traveling. I lost my time travel machine. I think happened, Max? I think what happened was I turned it upside down and I left the room. I think it went into the future by a minute and I'll never find it again. That's what I think.
Maybe somehow went to the past and they got it at the days of our lives.
Maybe, like the sands of time. Yeah. So.
Maybe there's a mechanism you haven't figured out how to make it go backwards.
I know it. I know. I'm working with mirrors, trying to figure it out. Definitely. Smoke and mirrors, I think, is going to do the trick. A little bit of smoke in the right kind of mirrors, I think we'll be able to do it. What do you think?
Well, they've been trying to figure out for a long time, like, is antimatter analogous to matter traveling backward in time? Well, not quite, but there's some interesting things come out of thinking that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's interesting theories about. I saw something that was David Will talk, or somebody was talking about the three dimensions of space plus one of time somehow can pass through some kind of point to three dimensions of time and one of space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I find it interesting. I wish I could read more about that idea, but.
Well, you know what's interesting is I have the world's longest finger. Did you know that? I do. I have the world's longest finger. Watch. I'll just do this. There you go. That's the old tongue-in-the-cheek, little tongue-in-cheek joke there. Literally. So, yeah, you put your finger in your ear and you put your tongue on the opposite cheek, like it's poking right through. It's kind of a cute.
I remember first when somebody first showed me a Chinese finger trap. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right. Those are great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they give that to kids for the first time. They're like, ooh.
Yeah. If China wanted to take us over, they could just drop a million of those all over every city,
Right.
and we'd all be trapped. We couldn't do anything. Our hands would be stuck.
Yeah.
I think they might try that. But us old salty people, we're not going to get fooled by that, are we?
No.
They'll catch all the young people. Oh my gosh, my fingers are stuck. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a crazy, crazy world, and well, I just can't believe the things that are happening. Oh, I know what else I was going to bring up. Let me see if I can find it here. It was a Corey Good summary or an update that Corey Good did. Let me see if I can find it here. I got some pretty good posts here. I can't believe what they did to Superman. I mean, I think we need to make our own indie Superman movies where it's, truth, justice, and the American way. They're trying to change it now to truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. How boring is that?
Right.
How
That's
boring.
fun to get rid of those
Unbelievable.
nationalities to trying to go to globalism BS.
Mm-hmm.
We all see it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Globalism sucks. Globalism sucks.
There's no question. You look at this. What did Ingersoll Lockwood? His last book was The Last President. So what does that mean? Well, I think it really could mean that this transition to another world, right?
Mm-hmm.
That our favorite Anon was going to be the last president, and we might in fact have a united world. You look how the Pino is uniting the world against him, right? Against what he represents.
Yeah.
We're at a time in history, really, that most of the world is actually united. Nobody really wants war.
Right.
They want to raise their families. They want to have a good life. They want, all these things. They don't really want to fight.
Mm-hmm.
We're led to believe that's what the deep state's been doing. They've been trying to create this division where there is none. Right.
Mm-hmm.
They stirred it up, but humanity as a whole has already moved past that. Okay, so there's no question at some point we will have a united world, but it will not be there'll be accountability structures, and there'll be transparency.
Mm-hmm.
We won't have this. What's wrong with globalism now is neither transparent nor accountable to any of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it makes it evil.
Yeah.
if everybody could elect the leader and they were all accountable and transparent, there were redundant structures like we had in the United States, in theory, globalism might work to some degree, but it's always destined in the current reality, the current training matrix, to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see, even the best structures that created my man in the United States government, right, can be infiltrated.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
And so we have to learn how these things happen. You know, it's part of our whole learning. That's what this is all about. How could this have happened? We all are shaking our heads. How could this have happened? How could all these forces of evil, which would never normally think to work together, right? The city of London, the Chinese, the
Mm-hmm.
Nazis, all these things. How could they possibly all work together? Well, it makes no sense unless you consider that we're in some kind of a matrix.
Mm-hmm.
This is all part of the final crescendo. Let's throw everything at them and see if they're ready to graduate. Basically, we train them all the time. Let's see if they stand up to the final exam,
Mm-hmm.
the final kindergarten exam here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they stand up to it? Do they realize? Do they realize they're actually in control? If they just have to assert their control, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots are actually in control. Do they understand that yet? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Do they stand up? Do they say, no, we're not doing it. We're not. No fear. We don't need this. Be gone. Shoo fly. Get out of here. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think the people standing up, especially like, Southwest Airlines and all these other places, all these teachers, and I guess a whole school that I think it was in England, 600 students all said no to the lollipop.
Right.
So they're all
Right.
people are standing up.
Did you hear about the Chicago police force and
No.
Seattle and
No,
San Francisco?
no. What happened?
Of course, the government's putting down these mandates, right? And at first, I think it was this. Maybe it's this Friday. They have to declare their status, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the union, the police union, is saying, "Do not declare your status."
Exactly. That's HIPAA laws. You can't. You're not supposed to be able
do
to.
not declare your status first of all, and then if they the police have said if they're forced to give their status or whatever, or otherwise get the lollipop, half the police of Chicago are going to step down. And they said the same thing in San Francisco and in Seattle. Okay.
I think that's what they want, though. They want the police.
Well, yeah.
They want to get rid of all. They want to get rid of as many patriotic people as they can out of places of power, so they can hand the reins over to China quicker. The Chinification of America.
Well, it's probably more basic than that. What they're going to say is, okay, since all these people walked off the job, we need a national police force.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Pelosi's already doing that. Yeah, she's already started.
That doesn't mean that's their response. It is still an appropriate response for these people to resist and say, no, we're not going to do it.
Right.
And if they're forced off the job, so be it. I mean, don't worry. Things work out in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll be revealing themselves. Remember, if they do this, they're going to be revealing themselves, and more and more people will wake up. Don't worry, they won't win.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to get pretty darn severe before it's all turned around.
Yeah, it'll get worse before it gets better, but
right.
I sure can't wait till it gets. Can't wait till it gets
It's going to
better.
be very rapid.
I hope so. Yeah.
It was, you can imagine the shock. It'll be the shot heard around the world, again, when the mass arrests come, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think of the shock, think of the reverberation that will cause around the world. You'll hear the collective, jubilation around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, the rest of the world's watching America. They are.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking to us. They're saying, when's it going to happen? They want their consciousness is focused on us too.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. Don't worry, it's all going to happen.
You said shot heard around the world. Well, I had to dig up this meme I made just recently, showing a nurse pointing a syringe like a pistol, and with the Q drop right there.
Yeah, multiple layers of this symbolism.
Shot heard around the world. The Great Awakening. A week to remember. 17. There you go.
So there's nothing to fear. I know there's people amongst us that still fearful of what they're seeing, and I try to soothe them as best you can, and they don't have the benefit of having read the drops. They don't have the benefit of having seen the information that different patriots put out.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I say, well, to the extent we can put that information out again, we should.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
speaking of patriots going out, our buddy Red Pill 78 is heading out to Lost Wages for another one of those Patriot double downs, the Patriot double down over there. And he's going to be speaking in public again. That's the second time speaking maybe third time speaking in public. So he's really, he's moving on up, like that old show, moving on up. So that's pretty awesome. So if you have a chance, go on to Lost Wages, Las Vegas, and check out Red Pill 78 and the Patriot double down. They got a big shindig. Go check out Red Pill's show notes.
Patriot double down?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. But check out Red Pill's latest videos in his show notes, in his attached stuff to the videos that he does on Twitch and DLive and all the others. And he should have that all in there, all the information to get tickets and all like that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. People are getting together. Patriot Double Down will be awesome. Yes, Dark Brain. Yeah, that is what it's called, I guess. Yeah. And they did the other one, like the old West themed one, the first one that Red Pill went to. I believe that was in Texas. Yeah, I think it was in Texas. But they had to switch where their venue was because they were getting some gruff from some people. But they really.
They had in Ohio. I know they had to get together in Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Early
on in the channel.
Oh yeah, with Jared Majewski. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going pretty good. I think he's going to give the incumbent a run for their money there. It may be streamed live on Twitch, channel NPC show. Oh, thanks, Dark Brain. He streamed it last time. Good. Oh, that's great. That would be fantastic.
I don't know if you see the number 17 appearing often in so many things, right?
Abby, I don't know if 107 is going to be there, but I don't think it's his event. It's put on by this couple, and they just started doing this. Like they did one, and this is their second one, I think. I can't remember their names, but check out Red Pill's information.
I was watching this late night show. It was on the H&I network. It's called 12 O'Clock High. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It was made by it's a QM production.
There you go.
And it was made back in, I think, the 60s.
Okay.
Anyway, this thing, I fell asleep in the garage, and I was awakened in like a 1 minute span. They must have said the letter associated with number 17 about 25 or 30 times.
Okay.
In a span of a minute.
Wow.
I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And I wish I keep going back there, hoping I'll catch it again, because I was half asleep.
Okay.
It seemed to be packed with some kind of important message. You know, when they keep putting out the number and the letter all the time, you're like, what the heck? You know?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And remember, this comes from God the source. These things put in all this media is probably not done by the Patriot.
Mm-hmm.
This is, and it doesn't rule out the possibility in it, but think about all these examples I was telling you throughout the different shows and everything. It's no accident. It's because the structure built into the structure of our universe.
Mm-hmm.
That these will happen, and or at very least, if not the whole structure of the universe, the structure of our training matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll learn when we get out of the training matrix that all things are a little different. We just couldn't tell you that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you weren't ready for the truth yet. You know, you're only in kindergarten. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You haven't learned to tie your shoes yet. You know.
Right. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's okay. I was just getting something ready to. I was going to post a little picture here of from the alien autopsy, because I was oops, the wrong darn thing. I was listening to a Bernie Mendez video today, interview, and on the interview he mentions that is a real extraterrestrial being autopsied. He'd seen that one before in his debriefings and many others. He's seen many other alien autopsies, but he said that one is definitely real. So, in which I've always thought that it was. And because it just has this look of recently being alive that you can't sculpt. You cannot sculpt that feeling of recently being alive. It's something you can't sculpt. So there it is, a real alien, folks. 6-fingered.
You're going to do it next Wednesday?
It's either going to be Friday or Wednesday. So yeah, I misspoke. I made a mistake last episode. I said that Bernie was going to be on today, and I looked at my notes and I'm like, oh no, I said the wrong date, because the 20th, which is today, was the day he was to leave the hospital. So obviously it can't be the same day he leaves the hospital. So I'm going to call him on Friday morning and see if he's up to it. And if he is, then that's when the show will be. If not, I'm going to try and have it for this coming Wednesday, which I think was the original time. But
you might need some recovery time.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. But I'm going to call him on Friday just to, make sure it's next Wednesday. And if he wants to, I'm going to give him the option of doing it Friday too, if he's feeling up to it. So, like I said, he was very reluctant to agree to do this. So I want to give him a couple options
Right.
and, really work with him and make sure he's comfortable, because he's really got some explosive things to say. He said, one of the things in that video today, he said there's this long-necked gray they call El Supremo, who is like everyone answers to, or supposedly, in this area, in this region. And there's a group called the Galactic, which consists of 3 galaxies. And the Galactic was the council that that they reported to these 3 galaxies that our transmissions, even all of our fiction movie transmissions, they were seeing as real, and they gave this information to all 3 galaxies, and they put warning signs: don't come to this galaxy. They've got all this incredible stuff. Where did they get this? And when they finally were asking questions, they said, where did you get all these weapons? Where did you get these spaceships? And I Dream of Jeannie, where did you get that technology to shrink someone into a bottle? You can't have that technology. Where did you get that? And so really quite something. So, just because another race is more intelligent than us or more advanced than us, it doesn't mean they can come to our world and instantly know what's going on in the hearts and minds of us. They don't. They can't. It's impossible for them to. But they were very upset when they found out about fiction and that these things weren't real, because now they had to go back and tell everybody that, well, forget what we just said. And it's like 3 galaxies full of people to tell. So it's like not an easy thing to do. So, the problems of being 3 galaxies.
You just was telling me about the Journey to Truth had the stuff on a new whistleblower or something. Who's that guy? I was starting to watch it yesterday and I fell asleep. Some guy on there has some patents.
Okay.
Related to anti-gravity, and he claims that he's part of has meetings with all these people in the know regarding the disclosure.
Okay.
And it tells you who's allowed and who's not allowed to bring forward technologies that
Wow.
Like anti-gravity.
Yeah. Well, it seems like
kind of interesting. I have to listen to some more of it. He lists some provisional patents.
Wow.
That he has. He's got some kind of device that is a power plant for homes that's going to cost, he thinks it's going to cost $200 to make. And it probably sold for about $2,000. But it produces excess power or something.
Is that Salvador Pius guy?
No.
Different guy?
He explains that. He actually knows, he says, Salvador Pius, was an individual, but the Salvador Pius is in the Navy patents is actually a group. The Navy doesn't put out, in general, things of that importance to one individual, the whole group. Mm-hmm. But they don't want to list the whole. They don't want to list the whole group, right? Because it would out them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they put these patents with people that are dead already, that were in the group. So there's a reason for that, because then you can't find information about that, or you can't contact the person, you can't do all these things, because that person doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He was giving lots of interesting information about and he was talking about all these different technologies that existed in the Tesla patents.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the most recent Journey to Truth. I have to go listen to it again. It was
okay.
like that. I shouldn't listen to some of those things when I've recently eaten, because I then kind of drift off into la la land.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
About midway through, and I said, "Oh no, now I got to watch it again."
Well, after you eat something, it takes a lot of body energy to digest. So then you're easy to go to sleep then, because then your body is busy doing something else.
Yeah, but it was fascinating. He kept me up for a while, and then all of a sudden, I was zonked.
Mm-hmm.
It usually takes an hour for me. I'm fine for an hour, then a couple hours later, I'm awake.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, it looked extremely interesting. So I mean, if anybody not familiar with Journey to Truth, you ought to go check that out. The most recent. And then there was one before that, I think, about Bigfoot. And I wonder was this Corbin or not.
Oh, okay.
I think it might have been Corbin Phoenix or whatever.
Yeah, Corbin called in last show, and he talked about Bigfoot in his driveway, taking down a tree,
right,
half a tree.
So I'm gonna go listen to that again. I watch it and see what's. So a lot of times I sit there and, well, that's part of the problem. Instead of watching it, sometimes I'll turn it on and rather than watching it on my phone or something, I'll just listen to it.
Okay. So.
Well, you wonder how much your brain picks up, when you fall asleep to that.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder if your brain picks up even more and just continues to pick it up.
Probably does.
Probably does.
Yeah, probably does.
If we could recall it, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you all a picture that I'm actually going to redo because I redesigned the character. But this is the original artwork from the first book, Awesome Possum. But I'm going to redo it to make him look more like he does now. But it's kind of a cute picture. Maybe you'll like it. It's from the first book, and I'll read that page to you too. All right. It goes. There he is. He's washing dishes. He is always very helpful. He knows just what to say. He always does his chores before he goes out to play. So there you go. So he's teaching kids good values. So there he is, the Awesome Possum, doing the dishes like a good boy. Yeah. It's good to be helpful. You know?
Well, this is where your experience with in a daycare center, I think, comes. You've had a lot of experience with children, so
yeah,
you probably know how to relate to them a lot better than most.
Yeah. It's really weird. When I bought my first house in Minnesota, in Mound, Minnesota, I hear a knock on the door, and I go to the door, and it'd be a couple little kids. You say, "Hey, Aaron, you want to play kickball?" I'm like going, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm kind of like a grown-up. I couldn't understand it. I'm like, wait a minute. How come the kids didn't come to my door when I was a kid to have me come and play? But now I'm an adult, and these kids want me to come and play kickball.
I just want somebody that can kick the ball around.
Yeah. So I was always kind of chuckled when that, and I always said no, but they kept coming to ask. That was kind of nice, though, I guess. I guess they could just kind of tell that I was a nice guy, maybe. But I was just confounded, like, what's going on here?
I just want somebody to play. I remember when I was a kid. trying to get somebody to play. You know, you had 2 people and you really wanted a few more or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, so that was cool.
I remember playing out in the front yard of this place that we lived in, and I didn't have anything to do, you know, because my brothers and sisters were all doing something else, and I was just trying to figure out. Of course, I enjoyed nature and whatever, so I'd build little forts. I had a neighborhood friend, and he come over. We had the log pile because we had a fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
And we got these extra long logs. We made this fort. We put a control panel for the Star Trek Enterprise in there, you know, on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
We get in there, pretend like we're flying a spaceship.
There you go.
And then one day we would go out there, there's this gigantic spider took over our fort. So nobody wanted to go in there anymore.
Oh boy.
And my mom says, "Why aren't you playing your fort? You know, you like that thing." Oh, this spider creatures took over.
Wow.
Well, then in the front yard, there's never seen these things before. There's little holes in the ground, and there's a round hole about, 2 inches in diameter, and they had 2 little holes in one end of this thing. And I was so curious, what the heck made this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was a little different. It had 2 little stick things sticking out of those two holes at the end, or several. There's 3 of them. And I was tapping there with a stick, and all of a sudden, a spider jumps out of that hole.
Mm.
A big spider.
Wow.
And grabs the stick.
Oh my.
And of course, I jumped back, because it was close. I mean, this is a little twig. The twig 4 inches long, and this stick jumps out and grabs the twig.
Wow. Did he start whacking you with it?
No, I was freaked out. It was a trapdoor spider.
Wow.
And I've never seen such a thing before. I had no idea there was a spider in there.
Wow.
And apparently I was upsetting him, or he thought there was a bug out there or something, because I was tapping with the twig.
Mm-hmm.
And
interesting.
Yeah, this was in Indiana, northern Indiana. And they weren't supposed to exist in northern Indiana.
No.
All the books said that they were just in the South.
Hmm.
So, and I said, well, that's obviously wrong. It's kind of led me to believe. But then my stepfather showed me, and my mom still doesn't believe me when I tell her this. In the summer months, it got cool in Indiana at night, right? But during the day, it was nice and hot, and it got the roof hot. And my stepfather took me out and says, "I'm going to show you something. Don't tell your mother; she'll go crazy." And you go outside, and right after the sun goes down, these big spiders. I mean, like wolf spiders, maybe, I don't know, 4 inches long.
Okay.
Would come out 30 or 40 of them, be on top of the roof, running around.
Wow.
Enjoying the heat from the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess there were little gnats and flies and whatever attracted to heat as well. So I think they were chasing those bugs.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of scary. I was glad they were up there. I told my mom about it again just a couple days ago, actually. She said, "No, I don't believe that." I said, "No, I was told not to tell you."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they came from. We were mystified. You know, you couldn't see any obvious spider webs or anything else. So you wonder, where are all these spiders coming from when the sun goes down?
Wow. You know what? I found something interesting with spiders. If you kill them on the wall and you don't clean them off and just leave them there like the skeleton, that keeps other ones away. Or it's just my procrastinating mind telling myself I don't need to clean. One of the two.
I had the giant spider in this business I worked at, and I'd seen this thing for a long time, and we had this cat in this business, and one day this cat I was doing invoices, and the cat came into the office and was going crazy. I said, wow, I was going to catch a mouse or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't paying, I continued my work, wasn't paying too much attention, but there's a big front window to the business, and there was a kind of bulletproof glass in the front window. It was really thick. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw this thing climbing up the curtain.
Mm.
And I got what they call the dry screams or whatever, like when it's a panic, primal panic.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a gigantic spider climbing up the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? The only thing I could think of is get one of those yellow pages books, right? So I went up there and I hit that thing. And the first time it did nothing to it. That's how tough this thing was. And finally I hit it so hard and it crunched, right? And it was dead. Well, I saved it. I got it in a jar and I put it out where customers could see it because they wouldn't believe me,
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my customers says, well, its mate's going to come looking for you. It's like, what? And I said, no, you're just kidding me. And he says, no, you watch. Within a couple days, if it's got a mate, you will see that mate, and it'll be close to where you're at. I said, no, you're just messing with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, within a couple days, I was in the office and I saw another one.
Mm.
And talking about being freaked out at that time, I was. See that? So.
Yeah. Red in the Valley says, okay, not to be rude. I have a serious phobia of them and can't listen. Sorry, it's a bad thing I went through. I will see you all next time. Oh, sorry, Red in the Valley.
I'm sorry.
Oops.
Well, I was freaked out by it too.
Yeah, they are scary. That definitely. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't freak anybody out, but I was certainly freaked out at the time.
Yeah.
Especially when somebody told me that, and I didn't believe there could be any truth to what they were saying. But then when it shows up a couple days later, I'm like, well, maybe I was wrong. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We don't have anything to complain about here because I've seen the ones in Australia, and those things are gigantic. So.
Oh yeah.
And Texas too. Texas has big ones, I guess, too.
What was that guy? Name of that guy? He's one of the characters in The Hobbit or something. He had a show on, and he was going to all these strange places to find
Bilboa
that
Baggins?
Maybe. And he was going all these places, and he'd take extreme risk. He went to this cave where these giant spiders were, and he says, now these are poisonous and known to be very dangerous and attack you and whatever. And he's going in there, trying to find them, right? And but he had no fear at all. And they would come out, and they'd run across him and not bite him and whatever. And this guy would have him on the arm and whatever, and it says, well, you know, they respond to your intentions.
Mm-hmm.
I had no fear of them. I had no desire to hurt them. And they know that. And that's why they don't attack. They don't bite me or don't attack
Mm-hmm.
me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want them to show with great fear, like, oh no, this guy's going to get bit.
Yeah.
You know? But no, he didn't.
Well,
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this, everybody, but the dogs are barking out there. I got to go bring them in. And so I think we're going to wrap this baby up. We had a good show. Thank you, Max, for calling in. Really appreciated it.
Well, thank you, Aaron.
Lots of interesting information to chew on. And I'm going to rewind it and listen to that number stuff and see if I can figure some of that stuff out too. Sounds interesting. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in and for staying company in the chat. After showing those ugly alien pictures, I thought I'd put something pretty up. It's a picture of some irises I took at a campground where I used to live when I was raising my kids. And they had the most gorgeous flowers all the time. And I was always taking pictures of flowers. So there's some beautiful irises for you to look at. And I wanted to end the show with something nice to look at instead of an ugly alien. So
I'm sorry if I freaked anybody out. I'll try to be more mindful.
Well, it's hard to please everybody, you know.
Oh, I know.
But
at least I can say I'm sorry.
All right. Well, apology accepted. Thank you very much, and thanks everybody for tuning in. Remember to tune in on Friday. We might just have that show with Bernie if he decides to do it on Friday, or for sure, hopefully on Wednesday if he's feeling up to it. So tune in for that. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and sometimes on the weekends. You never know what's going to happen on the Truth Quest. Could be an Elvis practice. It could be talking about aliens. We just never know. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. You're like my family and my best friends, the best mods in the business. Thank you, Dark Brain and Mud Rabbit, everybody for tuning in. And keep your cameras and your phones ready to take that picture so you can come on the Truth Quest and talk about it. Until then, peace in.